Okay, welcome to the third week of class and also to Chapter 5. Before we get started in Chapter 5, let's talk a little bit about your exam that's due this week. I'm sure you're concerned, what will it cover, what will be on it, what kind of questions will it be. It will cover the first 4 chapters. It will have 25 questions. You will have 48 hours to complete it. It will cover mainly terms, concepts, and vocabulary. So with everything that we've covered in the lectures, everything that you have PowerPoint and in your books and also the internet, you should be able to do very well on the test. It should take you at the most 2 hours to complete it. After that, if you upload it into Moodle, onto your Moodle account, I will get it graded as soon as possible. If you cannot upload into Moodle, if you don't have the ability to scan or to attach a document, you can also fax it to me at the number that's on our syllabus. So let's talk a little bit about elasticity and its applications. How do we use elasticity? What is the elasticity of demand? What are the detriments to the elasticity of demand? What are the meanings of the supply? How does elasticity affect supply? We will talk about all of this in the price elasticity through measures on how much the quantity demand responds to the changes in the price. Demand tends to be more elastic if the substitutions are available. If a good is a luxury rather than a necessity, the market narrowly defines it, or buyers have time to react to it, to a price change, and they will make better adjustments. This is where the supplements and the complements will come in. The price elasticity of demand is calculated as the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. Total revenue and total amount paid for goods equals the price of the goods times the quantity sold. When we talk about inelastic demand, we'll talk more about that in a second. The inelastic demand curve, total revenue moves in the same direction as the price. For elastic demand, the curve total revenue moves in the opposite direction as the price. So when we talk about the price elasticity of demand, it's a measure of how much the quantity demanded of a good responds to the change in the price of that good. Computed as a percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in the price. Okay, so I know that's a lot for you to have to kind of absorb. And also, I know the formula looks kind of intimidating. We will not work through the formula. What I want you to focus on is the inelastic and elastic directions and how they result from each other. Availability of close substitutes for a good has an elastic effect on demand. Necessities versus luxuries. Necessities are more price inelastic. The definition of a narrowly defined market such as ice cream are more elastic demand than broadly defined markets such as food. So when you look through the formula, just be aware of the formula. I won't expect you to know the formula or be tested on the formula, but I do just want you to be able to look through it. Because there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. The price of the ice cream that we talked about rose 10%, while the quantity demanded fell by 20%. So the higher the price, the lower the demand. The price elasticity of demand is sometimes reported as negative numbers. We'll ignore the minus signs and concentrate more on the absolute value of elasticity. We talked a little bit about the midpoint method. The midpoint method is a better way to calculate percentage change in elasticities. Because we use percentage change in calculating the price of elasticity of demand, the elasticity calculated by going from one point to another on demand for the demand curve will be different from elastic calculations by going from the second point to the first. The difference arises because the percentage changes are calculated using different base. A way around this problem would be to use the midpoint method. Using the midpoint method involves calculating the percentage of change in either the price or the quantity demanded by dividing the change in the variable by the midpoint between the initial and the final levels rather than by the initial level of itself. For example, if the price rises from $4 to $6 and the quantity demanded falls from $120 to $80, then the percentage change in the price, 6 minus 2 divided by 5 times 100, gives us 40%. Then we take the percentage change in the quantity demanded 120 minus 80 divided by 100 times 100 equals another 40% change. So the price elasticity of demand is 40 divided by 40 is equal to 1. When the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, the demand is defined as elastic. That's really what I want you to be able to know. That's what you should get out of this lecture, or out of these lectures, is how to be able to tell if greater than 1, equal to 1, or less than 1. So when the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, the demand is defined as elastic. When the price elasticity of demand is less than 1, the demand is defined as inelastic. When the price elasticity of demand is equal to 1, the demand is said to have unit elasticity. In general, the flatter the demand curve that passes through any given point, the more elastic the demand is. So when price elasticity of demand is equals to 0, demand is perfectly inelastic and is a vertical line. When the price elasticity of demand is infinite, demand is perfectly elastic and it is in a horizontal line. So what we're looking for is our total revenue and how much output we will have. So the total revenue is equal to the amount paid by the buyers and received by the sellers as the good is computed by the price of the good and the times it took the quantity to be sold. If demand is inelastic, the percentage change in the price will be greater than the percentage change in the quality demanded. If the price rises, quality demanded falls, total revenue will rise because of the increase in the price and will be larger than the decrease in the quantity demanded. If the price falls, the quantity demanded rises and the total revenue will fall because of the fall in the price. It will be larger than the increase in the quantity demanded. If the demand is elastic, the percentage change in the quantity demanded will be greater than the percentage change in the price. If the price rises, the quality demand falls and the total revenue will fall along with it. This will be smaller than the decrease in the quantity demanded. If price falls and quality demand rises, and then the total revenue will equal and rise as well. So what we're looking at is the demand is unit elastic. The percentage change in the price will be equal to the percentage change in the quantity demanded. If the price rises, the quantity demanded falls. If the total revenue will remain the same because the increase in the price will be equal to the decrease in the quantity demanded. If the price falls, the quantity demanded rises and the total revenue will remain the same. This is because the fall in the prices will be equal to the increase in the quantity demanded. Remember we talked earlier about the slope? The slope of a linear demand is a curve is constant, but the elastic is not. At points where low prices and high quantity demanded, that's when we determine that demand is inelastic. At points where high prices and low quantity is demanded, the demand is elastic. The total revenue, as we continue to discuss, the total revenue also varies at each price point along the demand curve. One thing that we talk about a lot in economics is how income drives elasticity, especially the demand and supply. It's a measure of how much the quantitative demand of a good responds to the change in the consumer's income. The way we look at it, the formula we would use is to compute it as the percentage of change in quality demanded is divided by the percentage of change in income. It's listed in your book and on your PowerPoint, but you will not be tested on that part of it. I just want you to be familiar with it. What I do want you to know is about normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods have a positive income on elasticities. Inferior goods have a negative income effect on elasticities. Necessities tend to have a small income, while luxuries tend to have a large effect on income and elasticities. And then next we look at the cross-price elasticity of demand. It's a measure of how much the quantity demanded of one of the goods responds to a change in the price of another good. The way we look at it on the formula would be the percentage of change. Remember we talked about the delta is the percentage of change in the quantity demanded of the first good divided by the percentage change in the price of the second